What's going on, good people? I am back. So, we are going to go over 12 USC 1431. After watching this video, we had some discrepancies.
You know that per 12 USC 1431, banks can't actually loan you any money because they're the borrowers? Did you know that?
Banks can't loan money because they are the borrowers. Well, no, I don't work for the bank, but I can tell you that if you are a borrower, you are a creditor. And no, I don't know if I agree with, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but we're gonna go over 12 USC 1431, powers and duties of banks, because we just be inserting words sometimes just to, I don't know. So, borrowing money, each Federal Home Loan Bank shall have the power, subject to rules and regulations prescribed by the director. Each bank shall have the power to give security therefore and to pay interest thereon, to issue debentures, bonds, or other obligations, and to do all things necessary for carrying out the provisions of this chapter. So I was getting caught up on debentures because the bank shall have the power to issue debentures. Let's go over what a debenture is real quick. Debentures, an unsecured loan certificate issued by a company backed by general credit rather than by specified assets. I wonder what general credit is. I didn't look that up. But unsecured loan certificate. Hold on. Each Federal Home Loan Bank shall have power to issue debentures, to issued unsecured loan certificates, bonds, or other obligations, instruments, loans, I think. So I looked up what is a loan certificate. It's a document that a clearinghouse gives to a bank when the bank needs to borrow money. A loan certificate means any instrument, however styled, evidencing a right to payment or repayment of money. So what is a clearinghouse? A designated intermediary between a buyer and a seller in a financial market. So we can say that a documented clearinghouse gives a bank to a bank. We can say that federal home loan banks are clearinghouses because national banks and federal home loan banks are two different things. Federal home loan banks are regional and national banks are national. So yeah, it sometimes I don't really understand what people be talking about or where they be coming from, like with these words. But let's keep going. I also looked up the definition of debenture in the law dictionary. Banks have the power to issue debentures. Debentures, according to Black's Law Dictionary, a certificate given by the collector of a port. Huh? That's interesting. What is a port? A place for the lading and unlading of the cargoes of vessels. Also very interesting. Do with that definition what you will. We know that certain words mean certain things in this community. So, what is a loan? A loan is a form of debt where one party agrees to lend money to another. So I think it's very debatable, and it would be a very good debate that the banks can borrow and lend. But somebody in my comments said also 12 USC 1431 is the duty of banks to pay interest on loans, not us. It is the banks. It says power, not duty, but let's see if duty is in here. It shall be the duty of the office of the finance not to issue debentures under this section in excess of the notes or obligations of member institutions held and secured under 1430A of this title by all the Federal Home Loan Banks. So, I mean, I guess you could say the Office of Finance is the one that issues the loans and not the banks, but yes, it says Federal Home Loan Bank shall have the power to borrow and give security, therefore, to borrow money and to give security, which is like collateral, and to pay interest on the things that they borrow. So if they borrow it, they give security for it, they pay interest on it. But if you are going to act as a bank, you are subject to rules and regulations prescribed by the director. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. This is kind of telling to issue debentures, to issue bonds. Another word for debenture is bond. I had this conversation with ChatGPT. Let's see it. Debentures. Explain in simple terms what a debenture is. This is ChatGPT. A debenture is like an IOU issued by a company or government to raise money. A debenture is an IOU. When you buy a debenture, you are lending money to the issuer. Well, this is ChatGPT, so we're not going to. ChatGPT don't even know how to count, so we only use it to confirm some things. Another word for debenture is bond. Bonds and debentures are similar in that they are both debt instruments issued by entities to raise capital. Hmm? What's another word for bond is security. Another word for security is instrument. So, I mean, money isn't money, it's just instruments. Money is IOUs. So, I think this is saying to us that banks can lend money, even though you can be right. Two things can be true at the same time. I understand what you guys are saying. Someone said a loan originates from our signature on the note. That is true, which the bank takes. I'm not going to read the rest of that, but that is very true. Um, it does originate from our signature on the note. And we know that once they make that deposit, that they are depositing credits and liabilities on both sides of each side of the ledger. Someone also said each Federal Home Loan Bank shall the subject to shall have the power to borrow and give security. Yes, I looked that up. And this guy asked me, how long have I worked for the banks? I don't work for the banks. I just read and I read and I read. And I go over these definitions and then I read some more. I don't know, you guys got to relax with this stuff. Um, it's really easy to get lost in it. But if you guys want to have a conversation about it, feel free to leave more comments. I don't know. I feel like I just debunked all of you, like every one of you with debentures. And there was a reason why I got stuck on that word. I knew it. And it's probably because in my spirit, I knew it was some bullshit. So, um, I can read the rest of this, but I really feel like I've debunked it. Banks do issue, and they have the power to issue debentures, loans, bonds, any other obligations, and do all things necessary for carrying out the provisions of this chapter, and all things incident thereto. So yeah, thanks so much for coming. I hope I didn't piss too many of you off. If you would like to respond and you do not agree with what I'm saying, Please, let's continue this little two step. All right. Have a blessed day.